The boardroom fell silent as Marcus Chen watched the young woman scrub coffee stains from the marble floor, her worn sneakers squeaking against the polished surface. She couldn't have been more than 25, with dark circles under her eyes that spoke of sleepless nights and struggles he could only imagine. What happened next would change both their lives forever, but not for the reasons anyone would expect. Marcus had built his tech empire from nothing, clawing his way up from a childhood spent in foster care to become one of Silicon Valley's most successful CEOs. Now at 38, he had everything money could buy except time with his 6-year-old daughter, Emma. The late nights, constant travel, and endless meetings had created a canyon between them that grew wider each day. He'd hired 3 nannies in the past year alone, each one leaving because Emma, still grieving her mother's death 2 years ago, refused to let anyone close. The girl on the floor looked up briefly, her cheeks flushed with embarrassment as executives stepped around her without acknowledgement. Marcus noticed her hands trembling as she gathered her cleaning supplies, moving with the kind of quiet invisibility that comes from being overlooked too many times. Something about her careful movements, the way she apologized silently with her eyes, stirred an old memory in him of his own mother, who had cleaned offices at night before she got sick. "Excuse me," Marcus said, stepping forward as the meeting broke up. The young woman froze, her eyes widening with fear that she'd done something wrong. "What's your name?" "Lily, sir. Lily Rodriguez. I'm so sorry about the mess. Someone knocked over their cup and I came as fast as I could." Her voice carried a slight accent, words tumbling out in nervous explanation. "How long have you worked here?" Marcus asked, ignoring his assistant's pointed glances at his watch. He had another meeting in 5 minutes, but something made him stay. 3 months, sir. Night shift, usually. But Maria called in sick today, so I'm covering." She clutched her spray bottle like a lifeline, clearly uncomfortable being seen, being noticed. Marcus nodded slowly, watching as she turned to leave, and that's when he saw it. Pinned to the inside of her cleaning cart was a child's drawing, faded and worn from being handled too much. A little girl with pigtails holding hands with a woman under a rainbow. The words, "I love you, Mommy," were scrawled in crayon at the bottom. "You have a daughter?" The question came out before he could stop himself. Lily's face transformed, fear melting into pure love. "Yes, sir, Sophia, she's 7. She's everything to me." Her voice cracked slightly, and Marcus saw her blink back tears before quickly excusing herself. That night, Marcus couldn't shake the encounter from his mind. While Emma sat across from him at dinner, pushing her food around her plate in silence, he kept thinking about Lily's trembling hands and the way her entire world seemed contained in that faded drawing. His daughter had everything. Every toy, every opportunity, every material advantage, yet she barely spoke anymore. Meanwhile, somewhere in this city, Lily's daughter probably had very little but clearly felt loved enough to draw rainbows for her mother. The next morning, Marcus did something unusual. Instead of heading straight to his corner office, he stopped by Human Resources. "Tell me about Lily Rodriguez." "The woman who works on the cleaning crew." The HR director pulled up her file with visible confusion. "Single mother, lives in East Oakland, works here part-time and has 2 other cleaning jobs. Excellent employee, always on time, never complains. Why do you ask?" Marcus learned that Lily worked 16-hour days, cobbling together 3 part-time positions, because none offered benefits or stable hours. She'd moved to the States 6 years ago from Mexico, pregnant and alone after her partner abandoned her. Every penny went to rent, food, and saving for Sophia's future. Despite her exhaustion, she'd never missed a shift. Never asked for help, never caused problems. "What are her daughter's school hours?" Marcus asked. "She attends the after-school program until Lily's neighbor picks her up at 6. Then the neighbor watches her until Lily gets home around 11. The director paused. "Is there a problem?" "No," Marcus said quietly. "But I'd like to speak with her. Can you arrange for her to come to my office today?" When Lily appeared that afternoon, she looked terrified, convinced she was being fired. Marcus watched her sink into the chair across from his desk, her spine rigid with anxiety. "Mr. Chen, if this is about yesterday, I promise it won't happen again. I need this job, please." "Lily, you're not in trouble," Marcus said gently. "I want to offer you a different position." Her confusion was evident. "Sir?" My daughter Emma lost her mother 2 years ago. Since then, she's refused to connect with any of the nannies I've hired. She's angry, she's hurting, and I don't know how to reach her anymore. My company is my life's work, but she's my heart. And I'm failing her. Marcus leaned forward, his voice catching. Yesterday, I saw how you looked when you talked about Sophia. I saw that drawing. I need someone who understands what it means to love a child more than anything. Someone who knows what it's like to fight for them every single day. Lily's eyes filled with tears. You want me to be Emma's nanny? I want you to be present in her life the way you're present for Sophia, not as an employee following rules, but as someone who genuinely cares. The position comes with full benefits, health insurance, a salary that would allow you to quit your other jobs, and flexible hours so you can be with Sophia when she needs you. I'll also ensure Sophia can attend the company's on-site childcare program, which means you'll be together more. Why? Lily whispered. You don't know me. You could hire anyone. Marcus stood and walked to his window, looking out over the city. When I was 8, my mother worked 3 cleaning jobs just like you. She'd come home exhausted, hands raw from chemicals, and still find the energy to help me with homework, to tell me stories, to make me believe I could be something more than circumstances dictated. She died when I was 10, and I've spent my whole life trying to honor her sacrifice by building something that matters. But lately, I've realized I've been so focused on the building that I forgot why it mattered. Emma doesn't need another employee in her life. She needs someone who understands that love isn't about what you can buy. It's about showing up even when you're exhausted, even when it's hard. The silence stretched between them until Lily spoke, her voice barely audible. I'm afraid, Mr. Chen, afraid I'm not qualified, that I'll let you down, that this is too good to be true. I'm afraid too, Marcus admitted. Afraid I've already lost my daughter to grief. Afraid I've become so disconnected that I can't find my way back to her. But yesterday, watching you work, seeing that drawing, it reminded me that the most important qualifications have nothing to do with degrees or experience. They have everything to do with heart. Lily accepted the position with trembling hands and tears streaming down her face. The first day she arrived at Marcus's home, Emma refused to come out of her room. The second day, Emma threw her breakfast on the floor. The third day, Emma screamed that she wanted her real mother, not some poor person pretending to care. Lily took it all without flinching. She didn't try to force connection or manufacture happy moments. Instead, she simply showed up. She sat outside Emma's door and talked about Sophia, about missing people, about how sadness sometimes feels so big it swallows everything else. She brought Sophia to meet Emma, and the two girls circled each other like cautious animals before. Sophia shared her crayons, and they started drawing together in silence. Weeks passed. Marcus watched from the margins as Lily worked a quiet magic that had nothing to do with entertainment or distraction. She taught Emma to bake cookies using her grandmother's recipe, letting the girl cry into the dough when she remembered baking with her mother. She took both girls to the park and pushed them on swings until her arms ached. She didn't try to replace Emma's mother. Instead, she honored her memory by keeping her present in conversation, in photographs and stories. One evening, Marcus came home early to find Emma curled against Lily on the couch, both girls asleep beside them after what looked like an afternoon of art projects. The house was a mess of paint and paper, so different from the sterile perfection it usually maintained. Lily looked up when he entered, carefully extracting herself without waking the children. She talked about her mother today, Lily said softly. Really talked for the first time. She told me about the songs her mother sang, about missing her smell, about being angry that she left. She asked if it was okay to be happy sometimes even though her mother was gone. Marcus felt his throat tighten. What did you tell her? I told her that love doesn't end when someone dies. I told her that her mother would want her to find joy again, to let people in, to keep living fully. I told her that being happy doesn't mean forgetting. Lily paused, wiping her own eyes. I hope that was okay. It was perfect, Marcus managed. You're perfect, not just for Emma, but for reminding me what actually matters. The transformation didn't happen overnight, but slowly Emma began to emerge from her shell. She laughed more, spoke more, accepted affection more readily. Marcus found himself coming home earlier, joining the art projects and park visits. relearning how to be present in his daughter's life. Lily had shown him that wealth couldn't heal grief, but patience, consistency, and genuine love could create space for healing to begin. 6 months later, Marcus made another announcement that shocked his entire company. He was restructuring his role, stepping back from day-to-day operations to focus on being a father. He also launched a new initiative providing childcare, health benefits, and living wages for all contract workers, including the cleaning staff, saying that no one who worked full-time should have to struggle to provide basic necessities for their children. But the most shocking revelation came when he explained his reasoning in a company-wide meeting. "I hired Lily Rodriguez because I saw in her the qualities that truly matter: resilience, selflessness, and unconditional love. What I didn't expect was that she would teach me how to be human again. We live in a world that measures worth by wealth, success by status, value by position. But the person who saved my daughter, who saved me, was someone most people in this building walked past without seeing. That changes now." As Marcus spoke, Lily sat in the audience with Sophia and Emma on either side, tears streaming down her face. She hadn't just gained a job, she'd gained security, opportunity, and the chance to build a real future for her daughter. But more than that, she'd gained a family. The story spread beyond the company, inspiring conversations about dignity, respect, and the invisible people who keep the world running. But for Marcus, the real miracle wasn't the public response or the policy changes. It was the sound of Emma's laughter filling his home again, the feeling of her hand in his without hesitation, the knowledge that by opening his eyes to one person's humanity, he'd reclaimed his own. In the end, Marcus hadn't fallen in love with